You will proceed to inspect the front of the bus. You will step back. You will look under the bus to ensure that there are no leaks and the bus is not leaning from one side to the other to indicate that the frame is good and that the engine is good. Then you will start from the top. You will say you have 3 clearance lights at the top that are amber in color, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware. You have your school bus signage and reflective tape. It's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware. You have 4 student loading lights, 2 amber, 2 red, that are not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not missing any hardware. Your windshield is properly mounted and secure with no illegal stickers that would hinder the driver's view. Your windshield wipers are properly mounted and secure, and you will show that the blades are good whenever you go inside for the inspection. Then you have your driver and passenger flat and convex mirrors, and assembly is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing any hardware. You have your 2 crossover mirrors properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. And you will check both sides to ensure that they are not missing any hardware and the brackets are firmly attached. You have your fender lights. They are also used as a 4-way flasher or a turn signal, and they are amber in color. You have your headlight assemblies. You have your high beam, low beam, 4-way flasher, and turn signal. Your high beam and low beams are white in color. Your 4-way flasher and turn signals are amber in color. They are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not missing any hardware. You will then come, release the hood latches on both sides. And open the hood. For under the hood, you start with, you have your copper fittings, hoses, and lines all properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not cut, tore, frayed, and no signs of leaking. You then have your oil dipstick is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. To check the oil level, you would remove, wipe with a paper towel, reinsert, and pull out again. Check, make sure it's between the adequate level. If you are needing to add oil, you would reinsert the dipstick, remove the cap from on top of the motor, insert the oil, and then recheck the process the same way I just stated. You then have your steering linkage connected to your steering box or your gearbox by U-joint. Is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware, and it is gear driven. You have your power steering reservoir, hoses, and lines properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not cut, tore, or frayed, and no signs of leaking. The reservoir is properly filled to the adequate level. If you needed to add power steering fluid, you would remove the cap, add the fluid to the proper amount, and reinsert the cap and make sure it's tight. Then you have your pitman arm and your steering arm properly mounted and secured with a castle nut and a carter pin, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not missing any hardware. These are all components of your steering. For your suspension components, you have your shock absorber, your leaf springs, spring mounts, and U-bolts, all properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not missing any hardware. And your shock absorber is no signs of leaking. Then for your braking components, you have your braking hoses and lines, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and no signs of leaking. You have your brake chamber, your push rod and slack adjusters, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware. And then inside you have your brake drum and lining at the proper thickness for the lining, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not missing any hardware. Then you come to your tire. It is evenly worn. The tread depth is no less than 4/32 inch tread depth. No cuts, tears, bulges, or abrasions on the outer wall. Your rim is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware, and no signs of non-manufactured welds. You then have your lug nuts properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware, no signs of rust to indicate that they have been loose. You have your oil hub seal properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing any hardware, and no signs of leaking. Then you have your valve stem properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no signs of leaking, and is secure with a cap. To check your prior tire pressure, you would use a tire gauge insert, and the PSI should be no less than 100 PSI.